Hi everyone, welcome back to On the Bench. This is now Season 2, Episode 1. I am Josh Brackstone, Communications Officer. We have got, from the left on my screen, we've got Josh Brown, Vice President.
Hello.
We've got Roshan, the Treasurer. Abigail Dean, the President. And Tyler, the Editor. Better than Tyler than Creator. We've got our own Tyler the Creator. We've got Tyler the Editor. So from now on, he'll be editing the podcasts and hopefully bringing a great experience to you guys on YouTube. And this is also going up on Spotify as well.
No pressure.
Yeah, indeed. Right, so we're going to start off with the first review of the game week. We're going to start off, because we've got two Chelsea fans in here, with Chelsea. So 2-1 win against Sheffield United. How do you think it went?
Well, I think there's positives to take away from it, and there's also negatives. I think against the Sheffield United side that has been dramatically underperforming this year, or some would probably say performing how everyone would have expected them to last year. I think there was a lot more we could have taken out of that game. I think at the moment the system's kind of proving to us as Chelsea fans the real issue we're having with goal scoring. Like in the past few game weeks, we've relied on like quite unfamiliar goal scorers to be getting us the points. Like the 2-0 win over Burnley when Aspi and Alonso were the goal scorers. Like we've got these like elite players in our squad, especially in attack, with this money that we've spent in the summer. You're expecting to see the names like Timo Werner, Tammy Abraham, Christian Pulisic on the score sheet week in, week out, and we're not quite seeing it. But I think if you go on the other end now, the unfortunate Rudiger own goal is actually the first goal we've now conceded under Tuchel, which I think it even still, and I know a lot of Chelsea fans are going to be thinking like not really counting that as a goal we've conceded. So I think on the other end, definitely where we have looked a bit leaky at times, I think we've really solidified ourselves at the back. But I think like that's all well and good, but when we start playing the bigger teams, and we need goals, like against Atletico Madrid especially, like we're going to look solid against them, but we're not going to be able to hold them off for 180 minutes across two fixtures. So we're going to need goals somewhere. So I don't know whether it's just going to be a matter of time with Timo Werner or whether patience is going to run out and we're going to try something new. But I think there was good and bad, but I definitely think we need to be working on scoring goals.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that, because as Tyler said, Aspi Alonso scoring, and then obviously Jorginho getting a penalty. Mount finally chipped in with a goal as well. I think he's probably been our player of the season so far. And I think to be even better, he needs to, score some more goals and get some more assists. Definitely against Sheffield, I think Werner had one of his better games. He got the assist for Mount's goal. He got the penalty. It was a very convincing performance for him, and he also got man of the match. So I think he just needs that one goal in the Premier League. I mean, it's all right to score in the FA Cup, as I said previously, but getting some goals in the league will definitely give him a massive boost. And as Tyler said, we need our attacking players to consistently score in order to beat the better teams, because I think we've had a lot of opportunities in the games where we've had Tuchel in charge, and we could have won by a lot more, but it just hasn't happened. And as Tyler said, against Atletico, we need to make these chances count, otherwise we'll be destroyed at the other end. I mean, we do look good defensively, but Champions League is always very unpredictable. Like, we got battered last season against Bayern, but that was a given. So I think probably the toughest tie we could have got, we got Atletico, but I think they're not playing great at the moment. I mean, they drew last week, and we're playing well, so it's going to be a very exciting tie. But Premier League up to 5th now, so it's promising times.
Nice, good to hear. What about tonight? We got Barnsley away. How do you think that'll go?
Happy days.
I don't want to talk about it because the last time we were like sweet cruise round through, we always seem to fall at this hurdle. But I'm hoping with Tuchel in now we're going to see As I said, we've seen that like defensive rigidity that we've needed like so desperately that I think in this kind of game, even if we rotate players, like if we're bringing in like Christensen and we might see Zuma in this game. I know I assume we probably will not see Thiago Silva, but I think mainly this game I want to see Werner and I want to see Havertz.
I agree.
I think they're in much need of confidence, and actually I think Havertz had a nice run at like few run of games after he scored the hat trick. And I think that's something we need again. We need to go out and batter them and get Werner on the score sheet a couple of times, get Havertz involved in the goals, maybe see Pulisic getting back involved, trying to get him back at his best. But obviously there's no guarantee in the FA Cup, so we will have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, I'm quite confident. I mean, it's Barnsley, and with the amount of money that we scored, I'm expecting about 4 or 5. But you never know nowadays, do you? It could be anything. Like Bradford, it was like quite a lot of years ago. We got absolutely done by them at home. But it's going to be a tough game. But I'm very confident that we'll probably come away with the win and mix up some of the teams. Maybe Gilmore will come in and Kante's fit again. Ziyech is getting his chance tonight. Kepa's also in goal. So I'm still confident we can get through. So happy days.
Just a
As you can see, I'm
reminder.
repping the shirt for once.
Yeah, good to see. Just a reminder, the last time you played in the FA Cup, you both played each other. It ended as a 1-0 Barnsley.
Yeah, I
So
was about to say.
hopefully not a repeat of that.
Well, you won't be seeing me next week if that's the case.
Yeah,
I mean, a week off.
I think it'll be a good game tonight. It'll be a good game tonight. Valérien Ismail from Barnsley, obviously Championship fan. He's a good manager. He came in earlier this season after Struber left to go to New York Red Bulls. So it'll be an interesting match tonight. What about Mr. Man United, Roshan?
Buzzing. Got to win against West Ham in the FA Cup. It'll 1-0 McSauce, get in. There was stuff going around as well where the microphone on the cameras picked up that Bruno told McTominay that the ball was his and he shouldn't have hit it. But oh well, nonetheless, we got a goal. Doesn't matter. Premier League wise, disappointed. We drew 3-3 with Everton. Very sad. Should have won the game. Should have put it to bed. We didn't, as always. I don't know. I mean, that was pretty much it, really. It was just annoying right at the end to concede. But that was literally it. The game was good overall. Both teams attacking. Both teams looked quite exposed at the back, both Everton and United. Right at the end, we were very exposed, just partly because of not picking up players and whatever.
That is now 8 goals scored against top 6 sides in 2 games for Everton. Obviously, we saw the 5-4 emphatic win yesterday. What was a 9-goal thriller against Tottenham. But even then, like both those games be in the space of 3-4 days against Man United's first team and Tottenham's first team to put 8 goals in.
They're good.
Yeah, I think Everton have a great squad, but I think it is proving that as well as the 8 goals scored, there were 7 goals conceded in those 2 games. That even with like bringing in Mason Holgate, that they did in the summer, there's still a lot that needs to be improved there for them to have any hopes of challenging for like Champions League.
They're just playing against big teams. That's what it is. It's all the big six. Like they perform well against the big six. I know. Even obviously, I know now Old Trafford is absolutely awful. Like we can't play there. We're so bad there. But even before all of this stuff, I mean, with COVID, every time we travelled down to Goodison Park, we knew we were getting a draw out there. There's no chance. And every time they came to Old Trafford, we knew we either scraping a win or again we're getting a draw. Everton is just one of those teams that like to perform against the big six.
Wait, can I just go back? Did you say Bruno told McSauce he should not have scored?
No. So what happened?
He shouldn't have shot.
Be jealous.
Shouldn't have shot and scored, mate.
He's still not scored against the top 6 side. So everyone's chatting this about Chelsea. I'm not seeing Bruno.
He scored against. Okay, so first thing, let's address this. So first thing was Rashford picks the ball up, McSauce scores, yeah. But what happened in the audio when it picked it up is basically Bruno had said to McSauce, he goes, He goes, just to let you know that the ball was for me, not for you. That was his actual words, is what he said. But either way, it doesn't matter. The goal came. It doesn't matter who scores it. That's all that happened. In regards to Bruno not scoring against the Big Six, yes, he has, because he scored the free kick against Liverpool. Liverpool are a Big Six team.
I was going to say I didn't mean I misspoke there. I didn't mean he hasn't scored, but we're yet to see a world class performance from Bruno against one of those big sides.
That ball
He came in, banged on a free kick. That's world class. We needed him to score a free kick. He's come on for the free kick and he scored the free kick. That's pure world class. That's
yeah. Well, if he was world class, you wouldn't have been knocked out of the Champions League, would you? So.
Oh,
Shots have been fired.
Sorry, we're winning Europa League. We're winning. We're gonna defeat Real Sociedad with extreme ease. David Silva's gonna be crying on the floor, wishing he was still at Man City. That's what's gonna happen. I can see it right now. I'm predicting the future.
Just by the way, Sporting Lisbon are top of the league without Bruno Fernandes in Portugal. So.
Yeah, they've actually outperformed their XG, X assists, and expected points this season without Bruno Fernandes. So
same as Atletico as well. Party.
No, if you're going to get rid of him in the summer, you might actually win the league. So
Nah,
you're only going to improve.
Bro, we give him a free roll. He can do whatever he wants with us. When he's at Sporting, he actually had instructions on what to do. Here, he's free as he wants to be.
Okay, then we'll move on to Southampton.
Big boy Southampton. Oh dear.
There's not much to say.
I don't know what to say. Ward-Prowse scored another free kick. Get in. He's going for it. He wants it. He smells it. We lost 3-2. I watched the last 20 minutes and it was just us in their half constantly attacking and them having just a wall of 2 lines of people because obviously they got a red card and then unfortunately one of their players got injured, which is always annoying in a game when you've used your substitutions and you can't do anything about an injury. We probably should have brought it back, but as I said, they were just a line of just solidness. Couldn't break through it. But that's all I can really say. We lost. We've got Wolves tonight. We've got Salisu who can now play because he's not injured. We've got Kyle Walker-Peters back, main right back who's been doing bits for us all season. So pretty much, we've got our full starting 11 back. The one that was winning games and performing very, very well, and also Minamino's off the mark with his goal scoring. So
you weren't too very positive about that, were you?
We
don't need him.
To be fair, it is hard to dig because, like, obviously we had that run earlier on in the season where it's just like there's only so much you can say to the point where it's just the same. Like, what can you do? Like, there's only so much you can talk about.
In terms of Minamino, yes, I was not positive about him, Dean. That is correct. That is only because I want some more depth in the fullbacks. Because it's literally all I was saying. All the Southampton fans on Twitter are like, he's not a right back. He's not a left back. What's the point? Because when we don't have those 2 players, Bertrand and Walker-Peters, the way we play just does not work because we have no one to cover them. We have to play a centre mid or a CDM out of position to play there. I know we played Jan Valery there, but I'm not. We know how I feel about him. I'm not talking about him. He's not. He's gone. He's not at the club for the rest of the season. That's all I'm going to say.
Birmingham.
Yeah, and now there's the left back that played that game. It shows how.
Vestergaard back yet, or is he still out injured?
Vestergaard's back. Yeah, Vestergaard's back.
So what? You just Bednarek Vestergaard then starting every time.
Bednarek Vestergaard, and then obviously I said, do you know that guy Salisu that we signed?
Yeah, I know Salisu.
Yeah. He can actually play now. He's been struggling with injuries for the whole season. It's been.
I actually think we could potentially see Bednarek get benched.
Yeah, if Salisu starts performing in training now, he's back.
I think. I think it needs to be a wake-up call. Like, obviously, that's 2 losses on the bounce. Like, obviously, the Man United. What was that? More than 2 losses on the bounce? Oh no, it's 3 because you lost to Villa as well.
Yeah.
They've had 5 losses.
Oh my god! Yeah, no,
we've lost the last 5
the week before.
We lost the last 5.
So obviously now you're looking at like something needs to change, and Bednarek has been.
I don't think nothing needs to change. I think we just struggle from injuries, and it showed our lack of depth. It's shown our lack of depth with our injuries. I think we're gonna get better now that we've got our start 11 back. I could just see it. Walker Peters, we know how he plays. He's a lad.
Brown, we know what needs to change. Stevens needs to go. He's got to go, blood. He's got
to go. Nah, Stevens is okay. I think Bednarek's been the shaky one recently.
Yeah, he has.
I mean, he hasn't got Vestergaard with him. That's why he loves it when he's got Vestergaard.
It's like when we watched Joe Gomez without Van Dijk.
Against Newcastle, we had Vestergaard, Bednarek, and Stevens playing right back. It was more like a 3 at the back, really.
I'm just saying, our 2 fixtures we had, we put out the exact same team for both games against you. Your changes were what? No Walker Peters and no Vestergaard, and that was about it. And it just shows how big those 2 players are.
Yeah, I think it showed. Yeah, that's why I was like, when Minamino come in, I was moaning.
As well, there was also 2 red cards as well, so
yeah,
that comes into a factor as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, the like 80-second red card is not going to be a help, is it? Completely changes your tactics going into the game. So
yeah, they're already 7-0 down. He's been sent off. It's all right. We've lost anyway. We'll just appeal it. We'll appeal it in a few days, boys. Don't worry.
All right, Braxton. Then do you want
to? Not really. Very average week for us. 3-1 loss to Brentford last night. I'm not really that fussed about losing to the top of the league. Best team in the league. We had our chances. We didn't really take them. Goals were preventable for Brentford. Yeah, that's all I can really say to sum that one up. Tony's a tapping merchant. I could say that. But that's a bit
as well. Come on.
But he assists as well. We'll go with that. And then the 0-0 draw against Stoke. It's 0-0, isn't it? It's just a boring game. It's a boring game against Stoke.
It's another process. There's not a lot to talk about, but all right. Well, there's a few other fixtures that I would like to just quickly brush over with this week. Leeds United picking up a 2-0 home win over Crystal Palace. That now means they're only projected 6 points that they need now to stay up. I think that's a great first season back up in the Premier League. I think it's a 50. Some people are thinking they overperformed, and other people are thinking that they're doing about as well as they thought they would. I know for me personally, I thought Leeds United would come up and stay up. So especially under Bielsa, I think we'll see this summer them spend a little bit more money, really like reinforce that back line, get those like Bielsa type players that really made them that like horror show in the Championship that just no one could do anything about.
That's if Bielsa stays.
Yeah, he's probably going to go. Most likely going to go.
Because he didn't really, as Roshan said in one of the other podcasts, he didn't really stay longer than 2 years, and he stayed 3rd year now. So
I don't know. We can see this because he's kind of built this up as his like project team.
That's what he does. That's his thing. He builds. So basically, any team he has, he build him, get him to the top division, and that's it. Then he's gone. He's out the window, and he moves on to an next team. Well, even now, he didn't want to stay in the Prem. He was only told by all of his family, going, "You got him up, but after 16 years, you might as well stay for at least a season." So he's gone, "Cool, why not?"
We'll leave the conversation about a new manager whenever Olivia's on next. Then another result: Man City 4-1 win over Liverpool at Anfield. That's 3 losses in a row for Liverpool at Anfield.
Deservedly.
Doesn't help that
it should have been 4-0.
Doesn't help that Alisson assisted 2 of the goals.
Yeah.
I think Man City looks quite good going forward in the second half. To be fair,
I think it's really exposing Liverpool's squad depth. These injuries, and I think it's proving why City's squad City's first squad may not be as elite as Liverpool's first squad, but if City get one injury, they don't even look phased, whereas Liverpool lose one player and they're suddenly scrapping around with a mid-table tier player. Mm-hmm. Like we're seeing Matip. I don't even see Matip get. I see Matip probably getting in like the Everton squad or something like that, and even still then Like I think, and like Fabinho, like he's a good defensive midfielder, but at centre half he's just so exposed. And we've seen like Jordan Henderson moving back into that position. Like I think it's really exposing their squad depth, and like they are so elite when they're at their best with their full squad. But then as soon as they lose one or two of those key players in that squad, they're just, well, you can see now they're just dropping down the table, and I don't think it will be long until they potentially even drop out the top 4 at this rate.
I think that shows how it shows how Man City, like even with an injury and no striker, they still have squad depth to move people around and put Foden in up top.
Even Jesus, I believe, was actually fit for this game, but they were still Guardiola's kind of adopted this like false 9 where like Foden's been playing in it. We saw De Bruyne playing it when they played us, and it worked wonders. Like it gives them so much space in behind because the strikers playing so deep, it's just drawing the defenders in.
With how good Foden's becoming as well, it's just he did well in that game. I really liked him.
Oh, for sure.
I enjoy watching him.
So good. He's so good.
Apart from a couple other draws, last one I want to mention, which also segues us onto our conversation for today. Aston Villa beating Arsenal 1-0 at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a Chelsea fan, I am enjoying the fact that it's not really a surprise that we're seeing Aston Villa beating Arsenal. But yeah, Ollie Watkins getting on the score sheet again. I think he has been a absolutely fantastic signing. Obviously, came in the summer for 27, about 28 million pounds from Brentford. Obviously, he was on fire. He did not look like he would ever stop scoring in the Championship last year, and I think we're seeing similar things now. Obviously, he's in a tougher league, so
10th goal of the season. That
goals aren't as easy to come by, but yeah, that's his 10th goal in the Premier League.
Double figures, easy win for him.
In 21 games, I think for Aston Villa, like they'll be chuffed to bits with that.
Definitely,
I'm excited to talk about him in a bit more depth when we get on to the next phase. I think we should we move on to the next phase?
Yeah. Let's
Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Let's have a little bit of a look at their squad, how they're doing this year. Have a look at previous years as well, because they've been in the mud a little bit, but then they've got themselves out of it. So I think as we've got 2 Chelsea fans here, we'll start off with the Chelsea loanee, Ross Barkley. How do you think his season's going?
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he? I think, Terry's obviously said, hey Ross, come over here. You're not playing for Chelsea, come over here. I think he's settled in really well just behind the striker. I think him and Grealish have linked up really well together. He had that bit of spell where he was out with a little bit of an injury, but he's come straight back into the team. I think he's just given Villa, something a little bit different, because Ross he's a very good talent. He hasn't always shown it at Chelsea, but I think we're starting to see the best of him in Villa because he has that freedom that he doesn't have at Chelsea. So I think he's, Dean Smith is allowing him to have that, and I think he's excelling at Villa, and I think, that reflects as to where they are in the league with all the players that they have. But I think Ross is a massive addition to their team this season.
Yeah, I think we're seeing him in that like classic number 10 at times where we saw him like work so well at Everton before he joined us, and he just kind of found himself out of favour. And obviously he made appearances here and there, but especially under Lampard, it was predominantly as an 8, and then under previous managers, he'd kind of again been utilised as like a centre midfielder or like a deep line playmaker at times and stuff like that. Like not really his natural role, where he may not be getting all the goals and all the assists, but he's there, and every time you see Villa score, he's involved in the move or creating space for another player. I think he's the signing of Barkley. I think we may even see it become permanent at the end of the year. But I think it's just allowed Grealish to really adopt that like free role that he's playing on the left-hand side, where he is almost playing as a wide 10. And like we've seen some absolutely fantastic performances from this year. 6 goals, 12 assists from 21 matches. He's really been Mr. Aston Villa this year. But yeah, I think that bringing in Ross Barkley has just allowed him to, he can just kind of float wherever he wants, because Ross can sort of sit deep if Grealish wants to adopt the space in behind the striker, or he can shift over to the left-hand side if Grealish is making a darting run inwards. Like I think it's really allowed him to play a lot more freely, and we're seeing the best out of both of them together.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the amount of midfielders that Chelsea have now, I don't think Ross Barkley's going to get a look in. So he'll be looking to make that move permanent.
I mean, I would.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, guaranteed game time at Villa.
Oh, for sure.
Game time.
Team that's playing well, good players.
We might as well, because
Yeah.
cover the history of the past few years. I watched a recent video on YouTube about how Villa's history has been, and they've been in the depths recently. So as back as 15-16, they were obviously relegated, bottom of the table without any hope. And I actually have a friend that's a Villa fan, and I went to 2 Villa games that season. It's against Stoke and Swansea, and they looked a bit hopeless, to be honest, and looked destined to go down. Decent talent in there, but just didn't gel together as a squad. I mean, they had Jordan Ayew and Rudy Gestede up top. I don't think that's not a great.
No, you're not going to get many goals out of them.
You're not going to get too many goals out of them. And then down to the Championship, Dr. Tony Gia took over and looked all hopeful and everything. Got Roberto Di Matteo in, spent loads of money, got like Ross McCormack in, who I'll talk about in a bit because he also failed. Loads of decent Championship players, got a decent Championship squad, started off poorly. Di Matteo sacked. Big Bruce came in, Big Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce.
What a man. Couldn't stop the poor start of the season, and they finished in mid-table. Next season, I think the toll of how much they spent really took over because they didn't make too many signings. But Brucey managed to get them into the playoffs, lost in the final to Fulham, which was obviously a shame for them. The next year turned a bit sour when he got thrown a cabbage at him on the pitch. Sacked not too long after, so it's not a great leaving message.
Championship.
And then obviously Dean Smith came in, former Brentford manager, was doing pretty well with them, and then took them up, went on a great run into the playoffs, won the playoffs against Derby, who obviously got through in that crazy game against Leeds when they managed to pull back the deficit. And oh, poor old Frank. Into the Premier League, and made loads of signings last year, and obviously quite a few of them failed. And I've noticed that at some point last season, they changed their director of football, and they've got a much better recruitment strategy now, and that's showing this year.
Oh,
Definitely.
I think I would give Villa they won the transfer market in the Premier League for sure.
Yeah, in
the
summer.
players they've managed to sign they've done well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have.
Beautiful.
And then obviously big talking point of last season was, could they have been relegated because the ghost goal against Sheffield United when the goal line technology just wasn't on, even though the ball was in the back of the net. But nevertheless, they managed to stay up and relegate Bournemouth, Norwich and Watford. And now they're firing on all cylinders this year.
I think they definitely had that, they were one of those squads where it's like they were too good for the Championship, but not quite the Premier League quality. And like you said, the new director of football has come in, and it targeted every gap they had in the squad. They needed a goalkeeper. They got a goalkeeper. They needed a fullback, midfielders. They needed someone to score the goals, which is something they were crying out for when they. Obviously, we saw Trezeguet performed on and off last year. They brought in Wesley, who did about nothing. I believe he joined from Bruges, didn't he?
Yeah,
he joined from
and then
Bruges.
he has had some injuries recently, so he not helped.
And we saw a squad crying out for goals, and I think this year they targeted very well what they needed to improve on, and I think I think they're. I wouldn't even say they're outperforming themselves. I think they've been great. Like the way their squad are right now, I'd say the squad are performing right now better than Tottenham and Everton. I'd say they probably should be sitting in about 7.
Well, they are. They've got a couple games off 23. They're on 21.
Yeah. They
Chelsea are on 23. They're only 4 points behind them, so they could even go further.
Yeah, but we don't look
they
at
get a couple
that.
results.
We look up. We'll be fine.
Yeah, but we weren't looking at Man United saying they had got games around. We were just saying they were rubbish.
Even if
they
Villa
got one game first.
Even if Villa
Yeah, but it doesn't matter
pick
about
up
them.
3 points from the 2 games.
Thank you, Brown. Thank you very much, Brown. Thank you.
No worries.
Obviously, both Villa and Everton have 2 games in hand from the game week, so that will be a good battle for them. I'd like to see them in the Europa League actually next year and see with again a little bit more of an influx of money, if they can just again patch up those little bits. They could probably do with another centre back, because I say if Mings or Konsa gets injured, they're looking a bit sparse.
I was going to
But
mention the lack of depth.
Yeah.
They signed Matty Target from Southampton, though he's been performing well for him.
Yeah.
He didn't really do bits for us because we obviously have Bertrand, but I wish we kept him now. We need him for the depth.
Yeah, depth. Exactly.
Let's play the sign. Like, other than Watkins, is Matty Cash. That guy is he's so good. Like, watching him in the Championship was amazing. And it's genuinely, he was slept on. The fact that no one else is really going for him other than Championship play.
£10.8 million he joined Aston Villa for. I think that's an absolute steal.
Definitely
Absolute bargain for him. He's such a good player.
23 years of age as well, so.
So underrated.
I think we should talk about their Championship pickups, because I think, as a Championship fan myself, obviously Reading fan, we've been in there for ages, and I watch a lot of it. There have been some great buys. Like I can mention Ollie Watkins just a little bit. His versatility's slept on a little bit, because I think he started out as Brentford as striker, but then they had Neil Maupay and he moved out onto the right-hand side. So they had Ben Rama, Maupay, Watkins. And then when obviously Maupay left to go to Brighton, they brought in Mbimu and he just slotted it back into the centre and he scored so many goals. And if they obviously lacked a winger, if Grealish was injured, I think you could do with maybe putting Watkins out wide, maybe talking about the lack of some of the depth, they could get a new striker in. But yeah, and Matty Cash never started off at right back. He was actually he's more of a right midfielder, and he's transitioned back, and he's doing great. He's doing great this year for Villa. He was great at Forest last year, probably one of the players of the season, and deserved a Premier League move.
Oh,
he's so strong on the ball.
Definitely.
Matty Cash is so strong on the ball. Like, even when he's in situations where he's kind of closed in and teams are obviously trying to push him into a corner and keep him there, he does so well to just keep the ball. I don't know how he does it. Don't know where he finds the strength from, but he just does. And on top of that as well, his work rate is just incredible for Villa. When he needs to push forward, he's happy to push forward. If he's got to stay back, he's happy to stay back, and he will get back every time. I think that's something they needed a lot, and they've obviously got it. And on top of this as well, when we were obviously going through Villa's history, where they won the playoffs, they received £175 million from winning the playoffs, which was more than, I think, who won that season? I can't remember.
It was Fulham the previous year.
Yeah.
The playoff money just keeps going up and going up.
It just goes up and up because so many teams won it. But yeah, that 175 million of winning the playoffs has actually worked out so well in their favour, because that season as well, they even bought Traore, who obviously didn't pop off last season, but
he wasn't there last year.
No, he wasn't there last year. This is his first year.
He came this year.
Oh, well, either way, he's popping up, to be fair. He's pretty decent.
£16.5 million, yeah, from Olympic Lyon.
Name's not in the stats, but he's doing bids.
Yeah.
You know, it has been. I think he complements Matty Cash really well. Like we've seen them work together quite well. I think Bertrand's been enjoying the ability to play quite narrow and get in positions where we wouldn't normally see a traditional striker. Like at times, he's almost been playing up front alongside Watkins, and Matty Cash has just had that freedom. It's almost like we see with Mo Salah at Liverpool, where he basically plays up front, and we see Trent Alexander-Arnold's basically playing as a right midfielder instead of a right back. When they do attack down that right hand side, there's just goals. And as you said, even if Traore isn't directly involved in them, his movement off the ball and his fight for space and like his deliveries this year has actually really impressed me. I've seen him in the past. Obviously as a Chelsea academy player. I saw him a lot under us, and his end product was he was always fantastic on the ball, and similar to Adama Traore, he's just got bags and bags of pace, but his end product was always something that needed improving on, and I actually think the reason why we didn't really see him much in a Chelsea shirt. But I think he's really improved on that, and we're seeing the best of him that I know a lot of Chelsea fans who have watched the academy teams over the last 10 years will be happy to see him working at what we saw him at his best in the under 19s.
I think it's also important to remember a few of the signings last year, while I may have not worked out, flourishing a bit more this year. So like Trezeguet, who's a good impact player. I mean, I'm talking from a Football Manager's sake because I did beat Josh Brown's Everton with Trezeguet combining with Traore, both coming off the bench. But they're still very useful players. Some of the signs from last year, when Wesley comes back from injury, I think they've got a decent backup striker. They've got Tom Heaton as well, who's struggling with injuries, but they've still got a decent backup goalkeeper. It's just a lot of players maybe that haven't performed last year, hopefully trying to get in this year. Like Douglas Luiz, brilliant signing from Man City. Maybe struggled a bit last year, but now he's really flourishing in that midfield.
Oh, he's been amazing. He's been really good. And for just over £15 million, like Villa's, as you said, Villa's recruitment's been incredible. Like they've been signing some absolutely fantastic players for what seems like pennies. Even if we just look very recently in a January transfer window, they picked up Morgan Sanson for what was it, like £14 million?
Yeah, I'm excited to see him.
Yeah. He's been on the bench for the past few games, but
I think at the moment, to be honest, this Villa side looks so good that even him coming in like with John McGinn and Douglas Luiz looks so solid in midfield, and Ross Barkley in that kind of cam role where we'd probably see Morgan Sanson play. Like I don't see him getting in the squad right now. I think we'd have to see a poor run of games for one of those players to see.
I think maybe in the upcoming game against Brighton, if they can get a few goals in or get a good like structure, couple goals, they might be able to bring him on, see how he plays. But
it was definitely a massive thing for Villa to actually stay up, because the amount of money that they spent, on loads of transfers, like it was crazy buying. I don't know how many, it was like 12, 13, maybe 14. And just staying up by the skin of their teeth. I think, as you said earlier, they've definitely targeted the areas that they've needed, and they've not been rash with how many players they've bought. They've bought the quality players that they have needed. And I know we've mentioned Watkins, Cash, all of them, but I think Martinez in goal has been brilliant. And I think Arsenal, arguably, I know my dad's not happy, I don't think it was the right decision for Arsenal to let him go, and for the money as well. Obviously they've got Leno, but I think Martinez is solid. Obviously, as Josh Braxton mentioned earlier, they had got Heaton. They had Reina last season, didn't they? They had, was it Nyland they had for a little bit as well in goal? I think Martinez is head and shoulders a better goalie than all of them.
I think right now the way he's performing, Martinez is a top 5 goalkeeper in the Premier League, and it was £16 million. Like
for sure, absolutely.
There's only 2 people above him with more clean sheets than him, which is obviously Diaz and Ederson. But
Edison's got Stones and Diaz in front. So
That is true.
Well, yeah. The previous season, 1920, Villa made 14 transfers and 2 loans of Pepe Reina and Danny Drinkwater, spending
Pepe Reina.
143 million pounds, and they actually only that year had made a sales of 2.7 million pounds. So they're their expenditure that year was 140 million pounds, and as you said, like we see Wesley come in for 22 million pounds. He was very average at best. I think Tyrone Mings for 20 mil was actually a good signing. I think we've seen him perform well. Douglas Luiz, as we mentioned, 15 million pounds. Matt Targett from Southampton, like, was a good signing.
Good pickup,
Ezri Konsa from Brentford. I think we've seen him perform really well, and like I was impressed with that signing. We've seen players like Marvelous Nakamba, Samatta, Trezeguet, El Ghazi all came in. Heaton, Engels, even House from Wolves came in that year. Like we saw some like good signings, but I think the problem just was the fees. Like we saw 22 million pounds for Wesley. Like that's a lot of money for a player who's been playing in the Belgium league. Like I believe he was actually the top goal scorer when he left.
I actually just got the clean sheets up in the Premier League, and the top 10 are all Aston Villa except for 3 players.
Which I'm guessing are Man City players.
No, it's actually Edison number 1, Ruben Diaz, then obviously Aston Villa players, and in 9th, guess who it is? It's not from City.
Zuma.
No.
That's the god.
It's Mendy, the goalkeeper.
He's
number 9.
He's been great for us, but
10 clean sheets so far.
But yeah, I think this year we've seen them spend kind of similar price. Like they bought a lot of players around the like 10, 15 million pound mark. We've seen them do the same thing this year, but they just all look so much better. Like this year, last year, 22.5 million pounds on Wesley. This year, 27 million pounds on Ollie Watkins. We saw them bring in Bertrand Traore for 16 million pounds the year before. Like we saw like Trezeguet for 9 million pounds. Again, we see Emi Martinez for 15.6 million pounds, and the year before that they spent almost 8 million pounds on Tom Heaton. Like they're spending similar money, but on players who are just going to perform for them on such a high level, and I think is going to carry them. I think if we actually look at the age of some of the signings that they bring in, like Matty Cash is 23, Morgan Sandson's 26, Emi Martinez 28, Traore 25, even Ollie Watkins is 25. It's like they've brought in players of a really good age. Like this is a squad that's going to perform for them for the next like 3, 4, 5 years in the Premier League, provided they can build around these kind of players.
I'd say those players and the team are yet to hit their peak performance yet.
Oh, for sure.
They're just going to grow and grow.
Yeah, exactly. I think definitely they need to be building this team around Watkins and Grealish.
Yeah, I think
they're the key figures.
I think those players are gonna. I'm moving on to transfers right now. For them, I think that people are thinking about those players moving away. I think they're going to stay. If they're looking at Aston Villa right now,
I think the only way you can see those players moving is with a like high transfer fee. Like I think if you see like 100 mil plus for Grealish at this point, you have to kind of consider it, because you're like, are you really going to be able to ever get that much money for another player in your club? And like how much that 100 mil could then go to revitalizing the rest of the squad. Like, yes, he's been such an impactful player now, but like potentially for like 40 mil, could you bring in someone of a similar stature and perform in a similar way? And then you also have that 60 mil spare to then go and improve in other positions. I think the only way we'll see these players move is with, as I said, like an extortionate transfer fee. But I think anything under 50 mil for some of these players, Villa probably would value them at about that, to be fair. So
yeah, I think we're going to see a similar. Wait, go on, Roshan. Go for it.
Some of the players like Grealish and Watkins, I don't think they'll go for a big amount either. I think like in terms of their career-wise, there's no point in them moving to another team where potentially they might underperform or something, and then bang, that's it. Your career's pretty much over because everyone ridicules you or whatever. So for them to stay would be the best solution because they've got a system that fits around them. They fit in well with it as well. And like they're performing, they're sat ninth at the moment, which realistically, let's be honest, no one thought they were going to be ninth after just scraping to stay out of relegation. And even now, and even if, let's say, hypothetically, if someone was to go from that team, okay, Grealish won't go because that's his boy club. He's been there the whole time. He's been in highs and lows. He's not leaving. Never, ever. Watkins, if he does go, with Ivan Toney, they'll just go buy another Brentford striker because Brentford produce so many good strikers. It's just like that.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Man City link with him.
What, with Watkins?
Yeah.
I don't think Watkins will leave this soon.
I've heard Lukaku and Danny Ings. I've heard nothing about them going for somebody that's like Ollie Watkins.
I don't know.
It's a bit. Maybe they just know they got a game. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what Villa need to improve on to go a bit further is just the same with like Southampton and other teams in similar situations. It's more depth. If you get certain players injured, your defence could break down instantly and you'll be screwed for a 9-0 loss.
We were struggling for goals.
If Traore goes, it's El Ghazi that replaces him, and if Grealish goes, then it's Trezeguet that replaces him.
It's his centre backs as well.
They're both decent. Yeah, centre backs that's where they struggle. But like even then, swapping Traore for El Ghazi that's not too bad. El Ghazi's pretty good on the ball. Swapping Trezeguet for Grealish is a bit different because Grealish is more of a playmaker, whereas Trezeguet is more of a finisher, kind of is what I'd say.
Yeah.
He's better at finishing. But yeah.
Well, one thing I would like to discuss is where do you think now Villa, if Villa do kick on and get in the Europa League, where do you think now they need to improve? Obviously, like we have to be a bit brutal here in players who have played well this season. Obviously, they probably will potentially not see the field as much next year. But like for me personally, I see them. They could easily go out, dip their toes in the transfer market and pick up a centre back.
Definitely.
I
think
Still Burnley centre backs.
Conce has been good, but I think there's room to improve. I think maybe even like left back, they could probably go in and get like a true starter at left back.
I think centre back. I mean, as much as Konza and Mings have done well against each other, I've never really rated Mings that much. Even when he was at Bournemouth, I didn't think he was that good.
Southgate rates him.
Well, we know about Southgate, so that's a different story. But anyway, I think having John Terry next to Dean Smith has really helped. I know last season they had the same two centre halves, and they did stay up, but. Obviously, they've improved this season. They brought Cash in at right back and Martinez into defence. So I think that's really helped. But I think if they want to progress further, I think they need a new centre half. I can't think of anyone at the top of my head, at the moment. No, let's not mention me. I mean, I'm going to think from my own Chelsea experience. I think Tomori could be a good addition because I think he's playing well at AC Milan at the moment. He's starting every week. Like Mings is good, but he's not. I don't think he's star quality at all. I think he's a Maguire equivalent, a little bit better. But
no.
That's an insult, Dean. That is an insult.
That's not an insult.
No, it's the thing is,
I think
Mings is better than Maguire.
No, yeah. Oh no fucking way! Of course he is. He's an £80 million leaky fridge. It's like when you go buy a Samsung. It's when you go buy one of those smart Samsung fridges here that you tap and it does everything for you. And you put, I want to dispense water, and somehow he fucking dispenses freezer fluid. That's what. He's a piece of shit.
Wow! I didn't think it would escalate that much.
So here, Mings is here. Maguire is fucking down here.
Oh, this is not the kid friendly, this podcast anymore. I mean, I'm going to go back to Mark Gay for centre back shout. I'm just going to go back to him. I said him for Palace. Do well at Villa. He's brilliant for Swansea. That's one of my shouts
What
for.
about Saliba?
Well, we have to move on from that as well, because obviously there's been some very inappropriate things going around recently in the Twitter world. People can view that at their own leisure if they feel like it, but we will not be discussing any further now. It's just not something that needs to be discussed any further at the moment. But anyway, no, I think the Chelsea lad on loan at Swansea is a very good option. He's playing well. I don't think we're going to make it back from that comment now, are we?
But I think a good place for centre halves has always been the Bundesliga. Like coming into the Premier League, we've seen them work well coming in. So we could potentially see Villa looking over there. I mean, I know their recruitment like across leagues, they tend to stick around the Premier League, but like there's been some great players like this year. Like we've seen Ginter. He's been performing very well this year. But you could even go and look at like into like Dortmund's squad, like Akanji and Zagadou, who are kind of bouncing in and out of the squad. Again, like players like Kunate, who have been like bouncing in and out of the Leipzig squad. Like I think there's definitely if Villa can get into those Europa League spots and get the money they need, then we may see them actually having another very good transfer window.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they'll definitely. I don't think people are over that comment. I think Villa obviously just surviving last season. I think where they are now with the games in hand, I think a top 10 finish is definitely plausible, like 100%.
I think if they don't get top 10, it's a poor season now.
Definitely. But I think that massive jump from like being, oh my God, like, we just stayed up till we could make the Europa League is a massive progress. And I can't concentrate. And I just think it's
I just keep laughing for the past 2 minutes.
It's just so contagious when they start laughing.
I keep seeing Braxton smiling.
Oh my God.
I was trying to get involved in the the centre backs from like Bundesliga. I just couldn't say anything.
Oh my God.
Zagadou. Did we mention Zagadou?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I lost my mind there. I think this is very funny viewing for the YouTube podcast. If people are listening to this on Spotify, they have no idea what's going on. Faces. Yeah, I think we could also look at the striker/winger depth as well, especially if Grealish leaves. Highly unlikely right now, but if he was to go in the future, they'd probably need a bit more depth. Good backup for Watkins would be needed as well. Any shouts from anywhere? Anybody? I'd maybe Ivan Toney would be a good striker.
I just don't see him coming now because I think if Brentford do get promoted, I think the only reason they sold Watkins is because they didn't get promoted and they knew they needed the money. And as I said, they've used that money well, and they bought Toney, who's like replaced Watkins relatively well.
He's come from Peterborough United to come up to Brentford and still banging goals.
Yeah, but he was scoring goals. He was scoring goals anyway. Like he was pretty much gonna perform there regardless. But I don't actually know.
How would you guys feel about like Christian Benteke going back to Villa?
No.
Because I
don't think it'd be a good enough backup. If Watkins went out injured, they'd need someone. They need the focal point to score goals. Benteke hasn't been.
I think a good signing potentially would be I've been watching a bit of Ligue 1 recently. Andy Delort from Montpellier, he's recently a Ligue 1 Player of the Month. He's been scoring good goals. I think he wouldn't reject the move to the Premier League. Obviously, with he is Algerian, so he predominantly speaks French. So obviously we may see a bit of a language barrier there, but he potentially wouldn't be a lot of money and someone who could come in and be a good backup to Watkins. Or as you said, if they want to then change and move Watkins over to the right and bring in a striker to come in the middle. I think there's options, but we won't see anything. I don't think we'll see anything major this summer. I think they'll be looking more at a winger than a striker.
Possible backup centre back if they make the Champions League or Europa League.
Champions League.
They could make it. Like,
I think for them the focal point will be a left back and a centre back more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, I think they can manage. I think, as you said, they'll need like depth players on the wing. But I think they are crying out for another centre half and probably a starting left back.
I don't think Target's. I think he deserves more praise than what I think a lot of people give him.
But like, I think going into Europa League, like you see Matty Cash on the right, and like he's been phenomenal this year, and I think Target's been like enough for what they need. But as you said, like if they want to kick on, then they need to look at making improvements. But like then again, like there's not a huge amount of left backs available. Like apart from if you're looking at like the Grimaldo, Tagliafico kind of range, you're not going to be looking anything under that. You've got like maybe a Cunha, but again, they predominantly are looking into like the Premier League and out yet.
Do you know what I think would be quite interesting is
maybe go pick up like Luke Shaw from Man United if they want to.
Luke Shaw's performing. We want him now.
Yeah, I think it's more like Brandon Williams that'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think going on the defensive front again, I think if Terry goes, I think that'll be interesting to see how Villa actually, perform without him, because obviously probably one of the best defenders in the Premier League history, no doubt, and they've improved massively from him as assistant last season to this season. And I think, for example, if he does go for the Bournemouth job and he does get it, if doesn't have Terry alongside, he'll need that defensive solidity for Villa, because Mings, the whole defence is improved with Terry there, no doubt.
Bit of Dean's connections.
It's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
My connection's stunning at uni, as you can see with my new backdrop. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what Terry does and how that will reflect on Villa. If he does go at the end of the season, or does go if he goes to Bournemouth. So I think that will be a massive challenge to see what happens there. Just thought I'd add that in whilst if I lag out.
2 points just wanted to make. Andy Delort, Tyler Shout, 29, would be a good older backup. Maybe a 2 or 3 year contract there, and I think that'd be a decent backup. It's obviously if they're going to go for him this year. And then Matt Target, 7th, according to Who Scored, he's rated as their 7th best player. So it's good season.
Target.
Yeah, Matt Target, 7th best rated player for Who Scored.
Watching him perform, it's kind of annoys me, but we move. I'm glad he's doing well. He was meant to be the next Luke Shaw for us.
I think at times his positioning is very poor.
I don't think Luke Shaw's the next Luke Shaw.
Yeah, I don't. But for Southampton, I mean, because Luke Shaw obviously played extremely well there.
He was good at Southampton. He was good in his first season at United, and then bang, his legs snapped.
That leg break killed him. Absolutely. Yeah. But he's coming back now, and I'm happy to see that, because I think England team is viable for him.
Got to terms with it that he's finding form. I can now watch Luke Shaw and not be in pain anymore. It's just Maguire.
I felt really bad for him.
My frustrating thing is just the money we spent on Ben Chilwell, and like Marcus Alonso's getting over him like now.
Oh, don't get me started on that turtle. Have you ever seen someone run so slow in my life? I know. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy, but he runs like a turtle. If you watch him later tonight and if he plays, as
everyone's running in football.
If you, tell me, I mean,
take the mick out of Raheem Sterling for running like a dinosaur.
It's not that, is it?
No, Tyler will agree with me. If you see Alonso run, it's a very interesting style of running, and he doesn't seem to cover the amount of ground that he should with that running style.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it on YouTube.
He looks like he's running in slow-mo.
It's like he's got something trying like hitting him from behind, and it's like, oh, it's. I
Like,
don't
you know
know
when
what
you see
I
the
don't know what he's doing.
sprinters train with the parachute on the back? That's what he looks like. He's
That's what
like
he looks
sprinting at
like.
full speed, but he's just going at like half speed.
He makes no ground.
If ever is Jorginho starts sprinting and he's going really slow, and then you see the rest start sprinting and he just fucking zoomed past Jorginho.
Mate.
The best clip I've ever seen.
George. I know I was thrown away a bit, but Jorginho's attempt to tackle on a counter attack is very worrying. Right, here we go.
Oh, it's not showing him.
No.
Let me go back.
Do you know what?
He comes up.
I don't think Alonso would be such a bad buy for Aston Villa. I think he'd be good.
No, I think there's no way unless you're playing a 5-back
That's
system.
ready.
Unless you play a 5-back system, Alonso is a no buy.
It's Alonso's recovery run you need to see, like him running back to try and stop.
Mate, I think it's flipping one at West Ham.
There he is.
Yeah, but it's him running backwards is the problem.
Yeah, that one at
He's
West
right.
You remember that goal we could see the West Ham like the 90th minute or whatever for them to win the game, and you just see him like slowly just like jogging back.
It's just not the one.
Slightly off topic there, but shall we?
Just had to get Marcus Alonso's running style on the Villa podcast.
Anything else to cover about Villa? Feel free to shout. Otherwise, we'll do a prediction of where we think they'll finish this year, and who they should sign in the summer. Their top signing.
I just want to point one thing out just before. This isn't about Villa. This is about my own club. I've just got. I follow these news stuff for Southampton, and it said that our owner Gow, I think his name is looking to sell Southampton for 160 mil, which Neymar was bought for 200 mil. Can we just point that out? Southampton is apparently worth less than a player.
That's a big.
Yeah, but the Neymar transfer was big at the time because he'd just come out of MSN at that time. So going to PSG, it kind of made sense. But yeah.
So
MSN. Oh yeah, sorry, I don't know. I was thinking of the social media thing. I was like, he came with MSN. No, that's fine.
The players worth more than the club, though. Surely the players' value would add to the club's value as well.
Apparently not. I think it's because of the amount of money we've got in the club at the moment is quite.
Right, back to Villa then. What's people's predictions of where they finish their season and who they sign? Yes. I'll go ahead. I think they'll finish a respectable 7th, but I might change that looking at the table. And I think they should sign a centre back, Mark Gay. I'm just going to go for him. If anyone needs a centre back, I'm just going to say Mark Gay because he's brilliant at Swansea, and I'll go for 8th. Actually, I'll go for 8th. Josh Brown, what are you saying?
Sure, I'm going to be hopeful for all the Aston Villa fans out there with the 6th because they're looking decent compared to the other teams that are in that part of the table. So,
wait, how far up? Are we referred to Chelsea? Or?
I've not mentioned Chelsea. I've just said 6th. Don't know where Chelsea are going to finish.
Oh, we're 5th.
I'm just saying 6th for Villa. I'll be the hopeful one and hope for 6th. In terms of transfers, I've not got a Scooby. Nothing's popping in my brain at the moment.
Saliba.
No.
No.
I'll get. Do you know what? I really like Mukiel in the Bundesliga, so I'm going to say him because he can play fullback and
right back, centre back. Yeah.
Roshan, what about you?
I don't know. Looking at the table, I don't know. Because I feel like just looking at the table, just the table only, I feel like they could push themselves up to being 7th or 6th. But then looking in terms of who they've still got all of the big, technically the new big 6 to play. They've got United, Leicester, City, Chelsea, Tottenham. Who's the last one? I always forget. Liverpool as well. Yeah. So they've got all of them still to play. And especially right at the end as well, for their game weeks are incredibly hard. Obviously, they've got Brighton after that. But then from game week 31, they're struggling because then that's the rest of their period. So I feel in that period, they'll kind of drop down and stay where they are because it's Liverpool City back to back. Then they got a break of a little West Brom and then mid-table Everton. Then it's back out again to United and Tottenham and this. I feel like they're just gonna stay where they are. To be honest, they'll go up, and then come game week like 30, they're just gonna drop down back to where they are.
Okay. Signing? Do you have any idea?
Oh, signing. I don't entirely know who to go with because they do need a centre back. But it's a question of who they could get.
Maguire.
Really, nah. I mean, I would love him to go. He can get the fuck out of the club, but no, he won't. Realistically, who could they sign? Decent show could be I don't know. They loan out Zebe because I don't know why, but no United fan wants him for some reason, even though I love him. He could go. Yerry Mina, if Everton starts slumping, Yerry Mina could be a shout as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah, not much.
Okay. Tyler, what about you?
I'm gonna say 7th, but I'm actually gonna mix it up because everyone's kind of been suggesting defenders. I'm gonna go with Milot Rashica as a winger. He's available for about 20 mil, and he has been electric the last 2 seasons. He has been phenomenal, and I was shocked no one picked him up in the summer. Villa were kind of rumoured with him before, so I think maybe now with them getting a little bit more cash, they probably will go and pick him up. And I'm also going to say if the fee is right, hang on, I've forgotten his name. Max Aarons from Norwich City, the left back. I think if the fee's right, then Max Aarons. But I think definitely Rashica is going to be. I think that will probably happen in the summer.
I don't think Max Aarons will leave though from Norwich, to be honest, because
Arsenal coming to the Prem again, won't he, if they get there?
Yeah, they'll be coming back up, and then on top of that, Buendia might potentially go out to Arsenal. So if you lose one big player, you can't really lose another big player at the same time. You're just bound to go back down again. Even though they will, even if they keep the same team, they're still going to go back down because they won't buy anyone. But yeah, it comes to that point.
Okay. What about you, Abigail Dean?
I think they'll stay in 9th, if I'm honest. I don't think the teams above them will go below them, and then vice versa, the teams below them will go above them, if that makes sense. I think who they should sign, I think they should just make Ross Barkley permanent, if I'm honest. I think, why not? He's playing well for them, as I said earlier. You know, I think Chelsea would want about probably 15 mil probably for him. 15 to 20 mil range is probably the right amount. Yeah, I think Ross Barkley would make that permanent, be a good addition for them.
Fair enough.
I'll rate that.
Right.
Thank you.
No worries. So that is Aston Villa. Hope you enjoyed that for any Villa fans listening out there. And we're going to do some predictions for this game week and any games in the midweek as well. So
it's a double game week.
Shall we start with today's games? Seeing as they're
go on then.
And when we release it, people will know if we're right or wrong.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Barnes to Chelsea. Let's go for that first.
4-0. 4-0 Barnsley. No, Chelsea.
6-1.
Chelsea.
I'm going to go with 6-1 Chelsea.
I'm going to say they scrape past and only have a 2-1.
I was thinking that. That's funny because I was thinking
you
that.
You can't be thinking that.
I was thinking 2-1. 2-1 Chelsea is what I was thinking, but then I was like, but I'm always quite overly critical about Chelsea, so I think I'm going to be slightly more lenient. I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to be slightly more lenient and say 3-1.
I love that extra goal there.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think I'll say 5-1 because we got the man, the myth, the legend in goal, Kepa. So I mean, if Rudiger's in the back line, he might score another own goal. Yeah, I think 5-1 is a reasonable, decent amount that I think we can get. tonight. So I'll be watching BBC One. I think it's on as well. So
That'll be a
There's
good.
a
That'll be
couple
a
of
good watch.
BBC One. Don't promote
BBC
it as if it's some big thing about BBC One. It's the FA Cup. It's everything.
it's free to stream.
Please watch us.
Please watch us.
It's some big thing being on BBC One. Everyone's on BBC One for FA Cup.
No, BT Sports.
No, there was game on Everton Tottenham was BT yesterday, wasn't it?
BT.
So
yeah.
is Wolves Southampton is BT
Yeah.
tonight.
Thanks,
Can we
Roshan.
get over the bullying of Southampton now? Just
BBC One.
tell all of you tell
BBC
me
One.
you tell me we're gonna lose, and then I'll say we're gonna win, and that's it.
1-0 Southampton.
Oh yes.
2-1
You can
Southampton.
come on more often, Tyler.
Well, I didn't even hear who you playing.
Wolves.
Southampton Wolves.
Oh yeah.
What
What did you say, D?
Oh, you.
I said 2-1 Southampton.
Oh, hello.
Can I come back on next week?
Yeah, cool. You can come on every week, D.
Oh, thank you.
Roshan, what's yours then?
Southampton, because then obviously they're playing them again a week after, and in the Premier League they'll draw 0-0. That's what I'm saying. They'll win 1-0 in the FA Cup, but draw 0-0 in the Premier League.
What are you saying, Bracky? You're gonna go in on me, aren't you?
I'm gonna say a 1-0 Wolves.
Yeah, I used to say that.
I think I'd back Wolves, to be honest. I think they're on better form now from when we last talked about them, and I think even with some of their backup players, like I think Fabio Silva could nick a goal, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the squads are. We'll see if I think the squads are stronger, they'll win.
Southampton will win on penalties. There we go. That's what I'm gonna say.
Do you really want that after the last two fixtures? Do you really now want a penalty shootout? Is that going to really do good for your heart?
No, I don't want to play. I don't want to play 120 minutes today. No.
I mean, Southampton did knock out the holders, so it's. I mean, Southampton the team to beat. If they knocked out Arsenal,
It's true.
But that's before they start performing like Portsmouth.
That is, if we've got our fullbacks back, we shall win the 2-1.
Yeah, but it's like, do you want to play your fullbacks in the Premier League or do you want to play them in the FA Cup? That's the question.
I think we're trying to go for a good FA Cup. I think Ralph doesn't see them as different games. I think he all sees them as like equal. Yeah. So he plays the strongest he can possibly play for every game. So I think he's not gonna save anyone or anything like that.
I don't understand why that is not a mentality for the top six sides, because really there's no excuse for teams like City and Man United and Liverpool for the money that they have to not challenge every competition. Like it seems like such a dumb mindset to be like, oh, we're just gonna focus on the FA Cup. Like why?
So
like you should be focusing on every competition, every game.
That's why I love Ralph, but sometimes it kind of like...
That's what I'm kind of hoping. That it seems like that's what Tuchel's like. He's like, Champions League, why not? FA Cup, we're going to win it. Premier League, let's go for it. Like, I'm liking the attitude of, like, no competition is unwinnable right now, even though, like, realistically, we're probably maybe only going to win one of them.
I just said something in the edit when Tyler said Tuchel Premier League. Can we just zoom in on Abby's face there? Because Abby just did not look happy when Tyler said that.
I'm just, a trophy would be lovely, and I think coming in mid-season and winning a trophy is a fantastic achievement. But Champions League, we ain't getting 2012 vibes back. For Chelsea, I think I peaked then. In terms of Champions League, we haven't really gotten anywhere near that since. Premier League is just untouchable this season. Obviously, we know that. Top four does look a bit more hopeful at the moment. FA Cup, it would be lovely, but we have to. I think the way Man City play, I think they're the only team that can probably win everything that they're in at the moment. So, it'd be nice. We can still do it on my face. It'd still be nice.
I think City are beatable.
Yeah, I think every team is beatable on their day, but I think at the moment they are definitely the team to beat, with or without a striker in this false nine that they're playing. So
yeah, I'd say this year City are more beatable than Liverpool were last year, and we beat them in the FA Cup. So
Billy Gilmore masterclass tonight against Barnsley, please.
I'm gonna cover the Blackburn Preston game of tomorrow because it's the Lancashire derby. Unfortunately, without fans, which is a shame because it's a pretty feisty derby between those two. But I'd back a Blackburn. That's a bit of a tongue twister right there. Back a Blackburn win. I'd go for a 3-1 actually. Give you an update on the form that Preston have lost their last 3 out of 5. Blackburn have won 2 of their last 5.
Preston lost Ben Davies to Liverpool.
Yeah, true. Not looking defensively strong. Preston lost to Rotherham in the last match.
Oh yeah, they're definitely losing into Blackburn. They're definitely losing.
3-1 Blackburn. Pretty easy prediction. Saturday. Some Premier League.
Yeah. We got
Leicester, Liverpool.
I wrote down a couple results. I just put 2-2. I put 2-2 for that one.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Is Jamie Vardy back now?
Yeah.
Playing in the
Yeah.
wheel.
I think he'll score a couple. I also think I can see Salah possibly scoring one, and then somebody else getting on the score sheet. So I just put 2-2.
Harvey Barnes,
Harvey Barnes.
Ooh, it's an equaliser, Harvey Barnes.
I'll say 2-0 as well.
Yeah, 2-0.
I think Liverpool need to get at least a point here after the past few games. I think they're gonna go for it, but I think Leicester might just score the same amount as them.
I'm gonna go 2-0 Leicester.
Fair play.
I go 2-1 Leicester. I think Liverpool's form at the moment is not good enough, and I still think their defence is not going to be enough to prevent Leicester from scoring goals. They've been scoring pretty easily at the moment, so I don't think that's going to change.
And then at 3 p.m. we've got Bourfest. We've got Crystal Palace against Burnley.
Crystal Palace 3-0.
0-0. It's always a 0-0 when Burnley's involved in it against the crap side.
1-0 Palace. Come on, Eze. Come on,
I think that's a bit harsh on Palace, to be fair. I think
1-0 Palace. Come on, Eze.
Palace have just been. They've had 1 or 2 shock results. Apart from that, they've just been wildly mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, I think as we discussed on previous podcasts when we analysed them quite a lot in depth, I think we highlighted that Zaha's a massive player for them, and obviously without them, they're poor. I think poor is a good word to sum that up.
So that's why I'm backing the classic 1-0 Burnley.
I would not be surprised at that, and
get out of here.
I think Palace. I think 1-0. I'll go 1-0.
Their 15th goal of the season. Whoa.
Can every team loan their best players to every other team but Burnley, so people can actually beat them when we get rid of them?
I literally just want Burnley going out the Prem.
I would happily donate someone like Cavani or Martial to someone like Palace just to beat Burnley and get rid of them. I don't want Burnley in the league.
I want to see their last few games. I think they've got all top 10 teams.
They're literally boring FC.
They are.
I think it'd be quite interesting to find out what's been the least amount of goals for a team that have stayed up in the Prem, because I think Burnley might be quite close to that at the moment. I mean, obviously, if they stay up or not, but I think they will. But
West Brom's conceding 54 goals either.
Well, Big Sam and Little Sam aren't very happy, are they? So we'll just leave it. But the big game at 5:30 is Man City versus Spurs, and I think that's going to be an interesting game because obviously Kane's back now as well, isn't he?
3-0 Man City. Still backing them to.
I've put 2-1 there because Jose Mourinho would just tell them to nick a goal and then sit at the back.
No goals. 2-0. 2-0.
3-0 City, I think, as well.
Tottenham 2-0.
I think it's going to be a 3-1 City. I don't think City's defence is quite. I think obviously with the addition to Diaz, I don't think it's perfect, and I think with Kane and Son getting back to business, I think we won't see City keep a clean sheet, but I think they'll win this game pretty comfortably.
Oh my God, Burnley could go down. Yes. Just they've got Tottenham, Arsenal, Everton, Leicester, Man U, Wolves, West Ham, Leeds, Liverpool.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Bye bye.
Come down.
Burnley.
We need Fulham
to beat them.
I put it out there. Burnley have played 22 games and they're on 23 points. They're literally like averaging a draw.
A point
game.
a game. If that doesn't summarise Burnley, I don't know what does.
If they lose to Palace, they will be smack on average of drawing every game. I just have to put it out there. This is why they need to go.
Which makes 38 points at the end of the season probably won't be enough.
But then who do you not relegate out of Fulham, West Brom, or Sheffield?
Fulham, keep Fulham up. Keep Fulham.
Please keep Fulham up.
Fulham have
They're not great.
Fulham have a decent size.
I like the derby.
Conceded the least goals out of the bottom three.
Please relegate West Brom.
Keep them up.
A team who's conceded 54 goals cannot stay in the Premier League. That would be a disgrace. They're definitely gone. Brighton versus Villa.
Villa 2-0.
Villa 1-0 for me.
3-0 Villa.
2-1.
1-0.
All right. We'll cover Reading Millwall as well, because I'm a Reading fan.
Yep.
14 draws for Millwall this year. Can they make it 15?
I thought you said 14-0 then. I was
3-0.
like, God.
Yeah, I'd back at 14-0. I think it's going to be a 1-0.
3-0.
Same as the previous one.
2-1 Reading.
Oh, cheers.
That's all right. Just got to throw that out.
I'll give him a 2-0.
Yeah, and we've also got Lincoln Accrington Stanley as well. That's a very big game because Accrington I think they've still got them few games in hand as well.
1-0 Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln are at home and they have been better away from home this season. They won 7 on a bounce, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then they drew to Hull midweek. Accrington have got a couple of games in hand to get into the playoffs, but I think Lincoln's attack has been very good this season with all the loanees they've got. I think that might be a 3-0 win, I think, for Lincoln.
Accrington lost in the week to Plymouth, so obviously anything can happen. And I think I'd back a 1-0 Lincoln.
I'm saying 2-0 Lincoln.
I'm going to go with a 1-1.
I don't like that, Josh. I don't like that 1-0.
Back the boys.
You have to back. We could have a championship team at our university next season. This could be life changing.
We're going to have on the bench match day vlogs at Lincoln next year.
There we go. Yeah. 10 to £15 tickets. All of us in the stand of our own stand that they have for the uni. You know, we can make a vlog. You know, we could be famous.
We could do.
Love the passion. Love the passion.
Like the match day stuff. We could
be famous. Yes, you're convincing us.
Away days vlog. We could go away days.
Away days. That's a good
Welcome to Lincoln Fan TV. Lincoln Fan TV. Abby Dean, how do you start that game? Michael Allison, it's time to go.
We're going up to the Prem.
We're getting promoted.
You need a mic. You honestly look like one of the TV presenters. You need a microphone in your hand, mate.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Oh, it's this like little turtleneck thing going on. I feel like I look like that guy that does. Oh, what's his name? Can't remember his name.
All right, what we think Southampton Wolves then?
1-1.
0-0.
2-2.
3-3. No, sorry.
1-0 Southampton. 1-0 Southampton. This time, the other way around.
You know what? Screw it. Yeah, 2-0 Southampton. Let's all go in. Yeah.
I'll say 2-1 Southampton again. Just keep getting these 2-1s.
Carl Walker-Peters is back. You got to believe. You got to have faith in the man.
1-1. Wolves are so defensive. 1-1.
West Brom Man U. Please be a 5-0 Man U. Please make it 50. Please make it 59 conceded. That would be wonderful.
I want a 6-0 then.
We want 6-0.
We want 6-0 then.
To make it 60.
6-0.
Please.
I'm going for 6-0.
I'm going 2-1 Man U.
I'm going for 6-0 Man U. Please make it happen.
I'm going with it as well. I'll put a bet on right now.
If I'm going for my dream, I'm saying 6-0. If I'm being realistic, it's 2-0.
Okay. I'll say 4-0. 4-0, yeah.
West Brom deserve to be battered. Arsenal Leeds. Good game.
Well, that'd be a really good game now, I agree.
3-1 Leeds. 3-1 Leeds.
1-0 Leeds.
2-1 Leeds. 2-1 Leeds.
4-3 Leeds.
6-0 United is 50-1.
not scoring that many
Go
goals.
for it.
That's worth a
fiver.
fiver.
I'd back it for a fiver, yeah.
Dude. Everton, Fulham. What are we thinking? I'm thinking 2-0 Everton.
What do you know?
2-1.
Accra as well, see.
I'm going 4-1 Everton. I think they're going to walk them.
Everton better win. They're in my
Who are
Accra.
they against? Who are they against? Sorry?
Fulham.
Oh, you said Everton are in your ACCA?
Yeah.
Okay,
2-0.
1-0 Fulham. 1-0 Fulham.
2-0. Wait,
Uh,
Roshan, have you bet on the early games?
no. I know.
Have you bet on
I never-
United?
Of course
You
he has.
Cool.
Of course he has.
You're screwed. You never bet on your own team. You're screwed.
No, never bet on your own team.
You never bet on the earlies, and you never bet on your own team. You're screwed. You're done.
No, the United one's different. It's not in my Accra. I just put a separate bet on that one. It's different.
I put a fiver on 6-0 United.
Have you actually?
If it wins, I'll give you each a tenner.
Oh, cheers. Thank you.
And
We love that.
and that's on record, so you know.
Hell
I can
yeah.
pay for my Lincoln ticket next season with that.
You're all gonna watch Man United now. Go, come on, Josh, get that.
Oh,
get
Get another
in.
goal. Martial, come on, Martial.
We want
See,
a red
Martial-
card. We want a red card in the first 2 minutes. We're sorted.
Yeah.
God.
Right, Monday Night Football. West Ham, Sheffield United. 2-0, 2-1 West Ham.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
See check goal. That's what I'm hoping on. See check goal.
Put him in your team.
Don't put him in your team. Don't put him in your team.
He's never
Definitely score.
coming out of the team. He's never coming out of the team. He's staying in every single time now.
Just captain him.
No, my captain's Bruno. I'm hoping for 2 goals from Bruno against West Brom.
Fair play, fair play.
That's all right.
And final game at Chelsea, Newcastle.
You know,
Because people have said he's not playing, but people have said he is.
2-0.
I think this will be the first game that we concede a goal that's not from our own player. If I'm honest, I think it will be 3-1 to us.
Callum Wilson is injured for 6 to 8 weeks or something like that.
3-0 Chelsea. 3-0 Chelsea.
If I'm being a Chelsea fan, I'm going 5-1. If I'm being realistic, then I'm saying 2-0.
I'm saying 1-0. Newcastle will be so defensive. I'm saying 1-0.
Yeah, I love how you've all said clean sheets, and there's me going, oh, we've got to concede our first goal.
It's not Callum Wilson.
Yeah,
You
it's because Callum
Yeah.
Wilson, they rely on him at the moment.
Yeah, I think from corners, I think we're a bit vulnerable from a few set pieces. I know we score a lot ourselves, but
Who was it
every
that got
time
the
a
red
corner
card?
comes in for them, it was Hendrick. Hendrick got the red card. But I think, you know, John Shelby might pull out something from somewhere, set piece.
He's going to score a 50-yard scream.
I just think we still look a little bit shaky from set pieces. I don't know if that's just me, like from corners.
agree.
It's this marking stuff. You know, we don't man mark particularly well. I don't think there's a lot of static marking where they have the runners come in. I think if we consider goal, it'll be from a set piece, not from open play.
I mean, the shakiest team is Leeds for set pieces. They literally have conceded the most goals from set pieces this season.
Yeah,
I don't know why they just struggle with it.
Ward
I mean,
Prowse is coming.
actually, I do know why, because Alioski is tiny and he's standing inside the box, which is not good. But yeah,
he's a very interesting player.
Alioski.
Left
I
winger
don't-
to
I don't
left
mind-
back.
yeah, left winger to left back. He's like, I think he's like 5'5" or something.
Sometimes
like
he just looks like a fan's come off the stands in a Leeds shirt, just running around on the pitch. It's quite funny.
So let's do some midweek games as well, because we've got Champions League coming back. So we've got Barca PSG for the first round. Barca at the Camp Nou. That's a hard one to predict. Barca aren't at their best. I'd go for 2-0 PSG.
2-1 PSG.
1-0. PSG.
Okay. Leipzig, Liverpool in Hungary.
1-0 Leipzig.
I'd
Yeah.
back actually 1-0 Leipzig.
I back that. Sabitzer and Paulson would be good.
2-1 Leipzig.
0-0.
Bristol City, Reading. Might as well as a Reading fan. We beat them on our own turf last time. I'd back it again. They're not really that great.
Yeah, I back
2-1. 2-1 Brentford.
2-0 Reading. Lucas João penalty.
Swifty.
He nearly missed the penalty yesterday as well.
I know.
It was. It could have been 3 in a row of missed penalties. I would have cried.
Lucas João will score, and Sonia Luca will score. 2-0.
He's looking knackered recently. I'm not too sure.
I want Sonia Luca to score. I want him to score. He just doesn't do it. I don't know why.
Any Luca over Sonia Luca.
True.
I'll leave that then.
Burnley Fulham on Wednesday.
0-0.
We're
not going to see a goal out of that game.
1-0 Fulham.
Nah. I want Fulham to win. I'm going to have to go with a Fulham win, 1-0.
1-0 Fulham.
I want Fulham to win 1-0 Lookman goal.
It's going to be a 1-0 Burnley, isn't it? I just
Lemina's going to score outside the box.
No, he's not.
Fulham have to win. That's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
They have to win that game.
Yeah, they do. Everton Man City.
2-1 City.
I agree.
3-1 City.
Yeah, 3-1 City.
City aren't conceding. Ruben Diaz and Stones at the back with Cancelo and Zinchenko. They're not conceding. I'm backing them.
So we'll do the last Champions League games, few reopens, and that'll be it. So we've got Porto, Juventus, 2-0 Juventus.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Juventus. 2-1.
Sevilla Dortmund.
Sevilla. Sevilla's going to win that game. Dortmund have been on a slacking run of form at the moment. I think it's going to be probably like 1 or 2-1 Sevilla.
I'd back that 2-1 as well.
Yeah.
Luke de Jong brace.
I'd say 2-0.
Luke de Jong, man.
Oh.
Sociedad Man U, we might as well talk about his.
2-1 United. 2-1 United.
2-0.
I'd back a 2.
I'm going to say 2-2.
I'm going to go 2 actually as well, yeah. I
Uh,
think it'll be a goal. It'll be a few goals.
I wouldn't recommend putting a bet on it then. You're going to lose money straight off the bat.
I'm not betting.
I bet. I'm putting a 2-2 bet on.
Well, you just lost however much you betted on.
How much is it? Like 10-1.
I just know.
Wait, what day is this? What day is it?
Thursday.
It's either going to be a 2-1 United or it's going to be 2-1 Sociedad. It is no other way about it. That's how it's going to be. We're just not going to draw against them. They're either going to win or we're going to win.
I was looking at the wrong day. Sorry, I was looking at Champions League.
12-1.
12-1.
Love that. So what
say
about
3-1 United?
3-1 United? Okay, we've got Slavia Prague versus Leicester. I've backed 2-0 Leicester.
Yeah.
Wolfsberger versus Tottenham. Wolfsberger from Austria, not Wolfsburg.
Oh,
Wolfsberger from the Austrian league. If Spurs didn't win that'd be a disgrace.
Well, I mean, they almost lost to Lask. They had to whip out something out of nowhere to try and draw 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. They're terrible Europa League.
Yeah. I'd still back a 1-0 Spurs though. They just scraped past.
I agree. Or 1-1 could be an interesting one.
Yeah.
And he'll miss a sitter. That's what I'm calling.
Okay, 2 more games. Benfica Arsenal. That's going to be an interesting one.
Benfica 2-1.
1-0 Benfica.
I'd still go Benfica.
1-0
I'd go 2-0 Benfica.
2-1 Benfica.
Okay, and finally we'll go to Scotland, to Glasgow Rangers. That was not a great Scottish fans.
2-0 Rangers.
Apologies to any Scots I offended. Against Royal Antwerp.
2-0 Rangers.
They beat Spurs. I'm going to go on their own grounds for Royal Antwerp. 1-0 Royal Antwerp.
2-1 Royal Antwerp.
I'm backing that. 1-9.
I hope Jamersi
1-0
Mbakani scores a goal. Do you remember him from Norwich? Jamersi Mbakani? What a man.
Yeah, I remember him.
Wait, is he Antwerp?
I remember him. What a man. Where's he from again? Is it that light blue flag?
Where is he from? DR Congo.
Yeah.
That blue flag.
It's nice, light blue. It's light blue.
Yeah. Didn't he score like a back heel? He was in was it the Liverpool game, the 5-4, and he scored a back heel?
Yeah.
What a man.
Yeah.
Well, that is all the games predicted, and that is it for this podcast episode. So, thank you guys for listening. If you're in this far, thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, and we shall see you on the next one next week. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.